Good evening, and welcome to the Planning Commission of the City of Moreno Valley. I now call this meeting to order on September 26, 2024 at 6 p.m. I invite Commissioner Nikki Taylor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we now have a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Zeitz,
Here.
Commissioner Terrell,
Here.
Commissioner Stefan,
Present.
Commissioner Dejanay,
Here.
Commissioner Cobian is excused, Vice Chairperson Baker,
Here.
Chairperson Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you.
We are now moving to move the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
I'll move that we approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion made by Commissioner Baker, Vice Chair Baker, and seconded by Commissioner Dejanay. May we please start the vote? The motion carries 7-0. Before we hear public comments this evening, I ask and encourage everyone participating to keep their comments respectful towards each other, especially towards the individual speaking. I embrace the support of the First Amendment right to free speech, including everyone's right to speak at this meeting and share his or her views about issues concerning our city. Any person wishing to speak, either in the public comment section of the agenda, scheduled items, or public hearings must fill out a request to speak form available at the door. The completed form must be submitted to the secretary prior to the end of the public comment period. During the public comment period for each item, including items not on the agenda, each member of the public who has signed up to speak have a maximum 3 minutes to speak. The public must direct their comments to the chairperson of the commission. Now we move into public comments on any item not on the agenda. Are there any speakers for items not on the agenda?
We do not have any speakers.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent calendar. All items under the consent calendar are considered to be routine, non-controversial, and may be enacted by one motion unless a member of the commission requests that an item be removed for separate action. Items withdrawn for report or discussion will be heard before action on the consent calendar. Questions or comments from the public on the consent calendar matter must pertain to the subject under consideration. At this time, would any commissioner like to pull an item from the consent calendar for a separate vote or discussion? Do we have any public comments for items on the consent calendar?
No public comments.
May I have a motion and second to approve the consent calendar?
I'll move that we approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Vice Chair Baker and seconded by Commissioner Zeitz. May you please start the vote? The motion carries 7-0. The next item on the agenda is the non-public hearing items. We do not have any items at this time. Public hearing items. The next item on the agenda is public hearing items. Item number 1, tentative track map 3480, PN 22-0187. The applicant is requesting approval to subdivide 8.89 acres into 37 single-family residential lots with associated improvements. May we please have the staff report?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. The presentation for this item is going to be made by contract planner Juan Galvan.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. Today I'll be presenting Project Pen 22-0187, which features tentative track map number 38480. This project proposes to subdivide approximately 8.89 acres into 37 single-family residential lots, along with the associated improvements. Applicant Winston Liu is requesting approval for this project, which is located on the south side of Fur Avenue, east of Morrison Street, and west of Naston Street. The project site currently has a land use and zoning destination of residential R5 and suburban residential R5, respectively, with an allowable maximum density of 5 dwelling units per acre. The proposed project is consistent with the surrounding existing residential developments to the north, south, east, and west. The proposed subdivision will create lots ranging from about 7,202 to 12,140 square feet. This results in a density of 4.16 dwelling units per acre, which is well within an allowable density. In compliance with California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, an initial study mitigated negative declaration, ISMND, was prepared as appropriate for this project. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission take the following actions. Adopt resolution number 2024-29, attached here to adopting the initial study, a mitigated negative declaration prepared for the proposed project in compliance with CEQA and CEQA guidelines, and reflect that Planning Commission reviewed and considered the information contained in the initial study mitigated negative declaration and exercise its independent judgment and analyze of the proposed project potential environmental impacts, and adopting the mitigation monitoring and reporting program prepared for the proposed project pursuant to CEQA and the CEQA guidelines. Adopt resolution number 2024-30, attached here to approving tentative tract map 38480, Pen 22-0187, based on the recitals evidence contained in the administrative record and finding as set forth in the resolution, subject to the approved condition of approval, as shown in Exhibit A of the resolution. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have. Thank you.
Are there any commissioner questions for staff? I have one question for staff. Is this proposal part of the master entitlement that occurred years ago, or is this is just a standalone, a new development, just conforming with the land use and the zoning?
Yes, it's a standalone project that's infill,
Not related to the.
not related.
Got it. Thank you. Seeing that there's no commissioner questions, at this time, would the applicant like to speak?
The applicant has been delayed, so he's not here to speak tonight.
Okay. Being that there's no commissioner questions of the applicant, we will now open public hearing at 6:08 p.m. The clerk will call upon each person who has requested to speak. Each member of the public wishing to speak will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak on the public hearing item. Do we have any public comments?
We do not have any public comments.
Would the applicant like to provide additional information? There's no applicant at this time. At this time, if there are no more speakers for public testimony, then we will close the public testimony and move on to deliberations or a motion. Do we have any deliberations from our commissioners? Okay, I see none.
Go ahead, Alan.
No, I was
Mr.
gonna,
Dejanay.
without the applicant, will we recess or move on without the, oh, there's the applicant right there. There we go.
We could approve it on its face.
On over there. I'm affiliated. I'm with.
Oh, right there, the,
Yes.
One moment,
We're
just
out of
point,
session.
just a point of order. The public hearing has actually already been closed, and public comment was actually closed as well. So in order to actually hear from the applicant, we would need to reopen both.
by a motion, correct? Yes. I request a motion to reopen public hearing to hear comments from the applicant.
I so move.
I second.
Moved by Commissioner Baker and seconded by Commissioner Zeitz.
We'll take a verbal vote on this. Commissioner Taylor? Commissioner Zeitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Terrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefan?
Yes.
Commissioner Dejanay?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Baker?
Yes.
Chairperson Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Applicant, would you like to provide any comments regarding the project?
Oh, no, yes, so, just appreciate the time. I'm affiliated with the applicant. I'm part of the brokerage arm. And yeah, no, we just really appreciate you guys considering, the project. Like they mentioned earlier, it's not affiliated with, the general plan, item. But really just, 37 units is what they're attempting to build there, private group, in the infill unit, just to support, just the overall, housing shortage within the state of California. So, we appreciate all your considerations and thank you for the time.
Thank you. Do we have any commissioner questions of the applicant? Commissioner Zeitz?
I may be early on this, but do you have an idea what size houses are going to be put in there?
Yes, they range from about, 2,000 to 2,400 square feet.
Okay. And you're considering them as just one generation housing or more?
Well, they are planning on, they are just entitling the piece and they're going to give it to a builder who is very experienced in that sense. And from what we're told, they only want to sell it to a builder that is planning on selling those in a first generation aspect.
Okay. The reason why I brought this up is because we always run into the problem of parking. And I would just ask is when this is given to the builder that he consider not using street parking as counting for the houses. And I'm asking this, I'm not demanding it, I'd like to see it because I always thought that when somebody came to visit me at the house, he parked on the street, we parked in our own driveways. And it just makes the neighborhood look nicer.
Yeah.
That's just something I would love to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Seeing no other questions, would the applicant like to provide any additional information?
None at this time.
Okay. At this time, if there are no more speakers on public testimony, then we'll close the public testimony and move on to deliberations or a motion. Do we have a motion or a second to accept staff recommendations?
All motion stack recommendations.
That works.
Yep. Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Commissioner Zeitz and a second by Commissioner Steffens. May we please start the vote? The motion carries 7-0. Can we please have a staff wrap-up, please?
Yes, thank you. This item stands approved by this board, by this commission, and unless appealed, anyone wishing to appeal the item may do so by filing an application with the Community Development Director within 10 days, along with paying the associated fees.
Thank you, Robert, for the staff wrap-up. The next item on the agenda is other commission business. We have no items at this time. Next on the staff agenda is staff comments. Do we have any staff comments at this time?
Yeah, just 3 quick items. Good to be back. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Just want to make a couple announcements. We did have some staff changes here. As you know, we lost a member of our staff shortly ago, and we added another member. We now have our senior admin staff that serves as the secretary to this commission, and that's Patty Castreje. So I'd like to welcome her in her new position.
Congratulations.
And we also have a new member of the staff that's going to be supporting Patty in her role, and that's Stacy Dunnings, who's sitting right next to her. So we want to welcome them to their new roles. You were provided a copy of a flyer for an event, a Halloween event that the Moreno Valley Sheriff Station is putting on. They reached out to us and asked us to invite this commission to that event. So we provided copies, and there's also copies of the flyer in the back for the public. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Planning Commissioner comments. Items under purview of the Planning Commission. Do we have any commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none, I do want to make comment. I will not be here on October 10th, so I'll be an excused absence. Okay. The Planning Commission meeting is adjourned at 6:15 p.m. at our next regular meeting on October 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.